A gang of drug dealers, led by a world champion cage fighter, have been jailed after dealing millions of pounds worth of Class A drugs. The gang flooded the northeast with cocaine, amphetamine and cannabis and would disguise batches in shoeboxes as presents for children. The cross-country network was set up by the Kingpin, Darren Towler, who's 41 years old, with people he met while serving an earlier prison sentence for supplying drugs. 11 people appeared in court for their role in the conspiracy to bring kilos of drugs from Merseyside into County Durham before they were distributed throughout the region. Former world champion cage fighter Towler, the head of the gang, is still on the run after being convicted in his absence of orchestrating the conspiracy alongside his sister, half-brother and girlfriend. Judge Jonathan Carroll said the fact that the purity of the cocaine between 90% and 95% proved how high up the gangs were in the drug supply network. Detectives were unable to put an exact figure on the amount of drugs and cash that flowed across the county, but they traced more than 10 trips between the northeast and northwest over a 5-month period in 2017. Their investigation showed there were multiple kilos of drugs exchanged for hundreds of thousands of pounds, including more than £100,000 wrapped up in 2 shoeboxes disguised as presents for children. Towler of Newcastle was found guilty of conspiracy to supply cocaine and amphetamine and admitted the same charge for cannabis. He was jailed for 24 years. His half-brother, Jonathan Kitson, pleaded guilty to the conspiracy charges and a separate charge involving cannabis, and he was jailed for 9 years and 11 months. Jodie Smith, the former partner of Towler, she also pleaded guilty to conspiracy to supply Class A drugs, and she was jailed for 6 years and 6 months. His sister, Anita Towler, she is going to be sentenced next month. The other members of the network who pleaded guilty to drug charges were Aaron Merritt, who was jailed for 29 months, Craig Field, who was jailed for 5 years and 7 months, and John Hunscroft, who was given a 22-month sentence suspended for 2 years. There was Stephen Ruddick, who's 38, he's going to be sentenced next month. And the 29-year-old stepbrother, Daniel Mappin, he pleaded guilty to supplying cocaine and an additional charge of supplying heroin, and he was jailed for 5 years and 4 months. There was Ricky Hemmings and John Edward Campbell, and Hemmings was jailed for 13 years and 6 months, and Campbell was jailed for 6 years and 8 months. So guys, that's a new story coming up from the northeast. It's your boy GC. Keep it locked, keep it real.